Thanks for joining me. Welcome back. I just want to take a moment to show you my delicious lunch. Well, it's a late lunch, but I have, my cheese. I have some cheese and I have 2 eggs that I cooked in the frying pan with a piece of ham underneath. And then I have a whole bunch of pancakes. I think five pancakes. So thank you very much for joining me. I will see you in just a moment after I'm done my food, and we will have like a frequently asked questions and kind of get to know me and things that people often ask about and stuff like that about myself. Okay, I realized that I didn't really have an introduction video, so I should probably do that. Okay, see you in a moment. Bye. Hi there, welcome back. So I finished my breakfast, or lunch rather, and it was delicious. And it is now, well, I did a little bit, I cleaned up after or whatever, but it's 4:41 p.m. Again, December 13th, 2025. And so, hello, my name is Lacey, and this is the channel Last Minute Lacey. My channel started out as a vlog, and it still pretty much is, even though it is transforming some. This is my kitty. This is my long hair. It goes way out here. Oh, wait, Merv, don't leave. Come back, my kitten. Come back. Oh, okay, maybe she will. You are so beautiful. Not gonna come back? Oh, that's shitty. She was really warm. So it's also minus 10 degrees outside in Canada, where I live. And as I was saying, so my channel started out as a vlog. I opened it because I had found myself, even at that time, I think it's been 5 or 6 years I've been on YouTube. And so, yeah, I was even isolated back then, especially with some of the uncommon experiences that I was having, with the spiritual stuff and the UFOs and aliens and such. And so it kind of isolated me from my peers at that time. And, well, I was online a lot, and I was trying to tell people, about what had happened in January 2015 when I saw the being in my room, and then in 2017. So I kept telling these stories over and over and over and over, typing it out, and it got to be really exhausting. So I decided that I would start an online blog. And I still have the first video I ever made, and it's pretty awkward, I was pretty nervous, and I didn't know what to say or how to feel sitting in front of a camera, basically talking to myself, because that's what you do. And that's something that you get used to over time. It's almost just like, if you're truly sharing your inner voice of heart and mind, then you really have nothing to worry about. I don't edit my videos or cut anything out. I may stop the video and then start again, but I don't cut anything out. At least, I don't think I have. I'm pretty sure I have not. For the most part, that's not something that I do here. So yeah, so it started off as a blog or a vlog where I started to express myself and the things that I couldn't share with people in my life. I'm a little bit further away because I have my books here, but I'll move this. Sorry. I'm going to move this. Here I am. So, right. So I had my vlog, and I was doing my thing, and I was talking online still, and then I would just share my video this way. But then I realized after a little bit, I liked it. And it went on from there. Of course, I shut the channel down quite a few times, and my Telegram channel has been deleted like at least 3 times. I think I did that. And now the number that I have now is number 4. And I think that oftentimes, I'll just finish off by saying, I think that I did that so often because I was not believing in myself, maybe feeling like it was pointless. It was a lot of self-sabotage. But yeah, so I am 40 years old. My birthday is August 5th, 1985. I'm 5'7". What else? Yeah, so I grew up in Canada, in Nova Scotia, Canada. And one of the reasons why I find myself alone in life at this time is because by the time I was 17 years old, I was adopted at birth, but by 17, I was placed into a group home. Thankfully, I was rescued by my neighbors and social services. I did not live, I lived a nightmare. There could have been much, much worse. I've heard, pretty terrible stories from different parts of the world, but it was pretty bad in its own way. Okay? I write about this in, I forgot my book. Oh, well, I'll just pause when I'm ready to, anyway, I am writing a second book, actually, about the story of my life, and the main reason why I'm doing so is because it's a lot to go over, and I get sidetracked by many other memories. And I feel like the experience and wisdom I gained from my life, even though there is a lot of tragic instances, such as, being adopted, and then, it just goes downhill from there. Not that I'm trying to play my own poor me violin or anything, okay? Because that's really not what it's about. I wanted to show people how I triumphed over these things and survived them, even though they were awful. And it's all true stories. And my first book, hold on, now I have to pause. But my first book is all true. Hold on. Okay. So my second book is about my physical life, but this one is about my spiritual life, and this is called Seek and Ye Shall Find the Gateway. Its actual title is Past Lives, Lucid Dreams, and Soul School. It's just it didn't fit on the cover. By me, Lacey J. Forbes. So this one's the spiritual life. So I'm writing about my physical life, and one of the reasons why my book is not for sale at the moment, I got afraid a few times because I knew that there was something missing. I didn't know what it was at the time, even, and I made a few revisions, even though things haven't changed much more. It's mostly just correcting mistakes that I had made, or for example, I thought that the Asura was an alien for a long time. Remember, or if you didn't know that, that's true. This being that I saw in 2015, at first I thought it was an alien. So I had to fix that in my book and make sure that people know that I found out what it really was, but I left it as it was, and there is an add-in because I cannot re-download a new copy of this. It was too much. Okay, so it's going to stay as it was, but in my second book about my physical life, there's going to be a section added in. Okay, and I'm going to read this out and make it public anyway, because everybody makes mistakes. And the reason why I put it in there is because I was convinced at the time that these beings were going to, for the culling, were going to come up from underground and harm people. And I couldn't live with myself if I didn't warn people. So that was really the motivation there. It wasn't sensationalism. It was just a mistake. Okay. So I have a book about my spiritual life, and then we'll have another one about my physical life. And they sometimes cross over and, of course, reflect with each other. I am going to try to do that, so that it can be compared to what was going on in my physical life at certain ages to what my spiritual life reflected, okay? Let's see. Now, okay, so I covered, that's why, I don't have any family. And yes, I met my birth family, but it is just a mess. Okay, so nothing really worked out, and I find myself by myself. Okay, Now, let's see. So, because of my home life, um, unfortunately, I was given the unwanted gift of what is called complex post traumatic stress disorder. I have realized that a lot of people claim to have this, and upon observing them and hearing, um, now I don't like to be a naysayer and be negative in this sense and be like, I'm the only one or whatever. In any way, it's not that. But there are people saying that they have this. Yeah, I just don't, I don't know. Okay, anyway, I think I have to remind myself that there are some people that take things differently. Like I listened to a story the other day about a girl who said she was traumatized by an experience at the nail salon. But it really wasn't that traumatized. Like they didn't even get to an altercation or a fight or anything like that. Now you've got trauma. Maybe they don't understand the definition. It's okay. Sorry, I don't mean to digress. I do that sometimes. Um, but okay. So because of that, I have this diagnosed CPTSD, which is why I'm on a disability program where I live. And this is how I have survived since I was about 23. Now, I have tried to work. Again, this is answering the question why I don't work. I have. I've actually been trying to keep jobs since I was of working age 16, 17. I think I was 16 when I got my first job at McDonald's. Yeah, that's how old I was. Um, so I really have been working ever since, or trying to, ever since I was able to. But unfortunately, after a few months, the stress would accumulate and I would get sick with my illness, depression, anxiety, panic attacks, all of that. Just complete unbalance. It really is. It feels like you fall into a nightmare world, that you, well, I mean, it took me a long time to heal and gain control of things and to not focus on the what ifs or the has beens, which the what ifs cause anxiety, and thinking about the past or the has beens causes depression, right? But, it has been something that's been greatly prevalent in my life. And as much as I would hope to heal it more and more, you know, um, unfortunately, when I was professionally diagnosed to get on ODSP, um, she told me it'll get better, which it has, but that I will most likely have this for life. And, well, that's since I've been 23, and it's still, I mean, it doesn't, see, the thing about healing is that it's not that the damage doesn't occur, it's that it doesn't control your life anymore. So, as far as that goes, it doesn't control my life as much as it used to, because I wouldn't even go out of the house. I wouldn't leave the house, like, at all. Um, I went through some pretty bad stages with it, again, because, well, what happens sometimes, because I went to the group home, I got re-victimized by a man that I fell in love with, and he abused me pretty badly for an extended period of time. And so it made it even more difficult to deal with. I got an eating disorder. Yeah, yeah, it was pretty bad. But I triumphed over these things. I no longer have that. Like, um, sometimes if my anxiety is high, like, I won't be able to eat for a little bit, but eventually I'll eat dinner, have a great big meal, you know what I mean? So it's manageable now. But I did try to work. I talk about it in, I'm wearing my turquoise sweater and I have the initials of the flame. I think it's, I found the answer. It's astral travel or something like that. Um, where I talk about the fact that I got a job and I was working. Because I really thought, like, I've gotten a lot better. Maybe I can handle things more. I'd really like to, go out and be a positive influence in the world and, also be more self sufficient and independent. Not like, I don't need a man, not in that way, but just because I had never been successful at working because of my illness. Like, I'll tell you some other stories later. I've written about it in my book, but it would be a couple months go by, and then I would fall into a deep depression. And I'll just tell you real quick. So I was out west working, and this had happened to me. And my friends, like, they knew, but they told them that I was sick, and I told them I was ill. But at the time, I kind of hid that I had, like, I don't even think I was sure I had something wrong with me back then, But I think my friends did. And we were so young. Like, Kirsty was like 18, but she was wise and smart. Anyway, I don't want to digress too far into it, but listen, the thing is that the owner of the place showed up, marched his ass upstairs, burst into my room, and started screaming at me. Oh my God. So that's how I lost that job. He thought I was drunk, and they were so pissed. My two friends, Kirsty and Christina, left with me. She's like, if you fire her, we're leaving too. So that means you lose 3 employees of the same department, and we were already low staffed in housekeeping. Yeah. And they all left with me because that was a terrible thing for him to do. Now I'm already like, he's woken me up because I heard him. I heard him come in, and I heard him start yelling at them. That's how I woke up at first. I'm like, oh, I know who that is. You know what I mean? And then full on panic attack, crying and all that. It was a big thing. But they were good, loyal friends and stood up. I mean, they didn't have to. I didn't want them to be like, no, fuck that. They said, we're not staying here with an asshole owner like that. No. It was terrible what he did. Didn't even knock or nothing. Just because, like, we rented these rooms off of them, that they rented this big house for staff. You know what I mean? So he just thought that he had the right to do that. I don't know. But anyway, let's not digress too far, okay? I'm telling you, like, my whole life story, but I didn't mean to. So I might as well keep going because it explains about work. So yeah, I used to work as a bus monitor, and I worked with special needs students and students with disabilities. The job helped me to be able to not smoke weed all day and then only do that at night. You know what I mean? Because clearly I'm not going to be irresponsible like that. Like, it really helped me improve my life. And I could, like, I only worked 4 hours a day, but it's a difficult job. But it's rewarding, and I enjoyed the heck out of it. It brought me so much joy, so much laughter. The thing that's difficult about it, people think, oh yeah, those kids can be a handful. No, it wasn't the kids. It's the adults. And not even the parents. It was, I'm sorry to have to say, but the people that I worked with. I just could not make it work with the driver that I had. And it got to the point where when I complained about her, she started doing stupid, nasty things to try to get me in trouble. Things that I didn't even do. And so it just became ridiculous. But anyway, when they tried to switch me, it got too far to the point where, because this woman would often call in sick, and then I'd be stuck with the only emergency driver they had. And he was just a nightmare. He really was. He was like a Napoleon terror. It was just, oh my goodness. Because he was small, and he was angry, and he was the meanest guy. He was just so mean. And he was a dad too. And I remember, like, I was like, what the hell's wrong with this guy? He wouldn't turn the heat down. The bus was so hot. The kids and I were sweating. I'm like, we can't breathe. It's too hot. Please turn down the heat. And he wouldn't. He was ignoring me. And so I had to, like, open the windows. The kids had these bright red cheeks. They're like, some of them are falling asleep. But when I told my boss this, she was like, oh my God. She's like, sometimes they do that to put the kids to sleep, but he shouldn't be doing that. Like, I was literally sweating buckets. Anyway, I'm so sorry. I digress a lot on this channel. But let's see. I don't know. What else do I say about myself? I sometimes just say everything. And I think my goal in life, which is, it always has been, so I've been like this always. I say, if you were to just stop by randomly, this is what I'm like, this is what I look like. Um, even if you were to call me and say we're 10 minutes away, 20 minutes away, I'm still not going to put on makeup. It's not because I don't have pride. It's that I love myself for who I am, and I'm comfortable like this. If you're not comfortable with that, well, that's their problem. Yeah? Yeah. So, my goal in life is to be truly loved for who I am, for all that I am, you know? And I try to do my best and extend that out to others. Although I do have a difficult time interacting with people and relationships because of the extended amount of turmoil, let's just call it, that I've experienced in my life. So it was like 17 years with my parents, adopted parents, and then another 9 with that fella, about 9 years with that fella. So, and it still really hasn't ended, you know, and it's not about letting it go. It's just, that's why they say betrayal is one of the worst things. I mean, it really, when you truly love somebody and they act this way, it cuts you deep. And I mean, it changed me forever. Like learning unconditional love and having that for myself, it's truly transformative. There is a before and after. Who I was before that and after. You know, a very distinct point in my life that I can pinpoint and say, you know what? That truly changed me forever. And it was for the best. But sometimes, did you hear the song November Rain? I heard that song, that line, but if you can heal a broken heart, then nothing can ever harm you. Oh, you know that part? I just heard that in my head. That's twice I had this song a few times, and it opened my emotional center. It was really good. But, oh yeah. And through that song, I realized that my isolation, okay, was necessary. It truly is almost like being inside of a cocoon and developing into a butterfly, you know? Because it says in November Rain, we all need some time on our own. We all need some time all alone. You know? Everybody needs some time all alone. And it's almost like how they talk about some of the stories in our religious teachings where they'll say, okay, well, I'm going to go and sit in a cave for 6 months and can conversate with God. It's kind of like that. You're getting to know yourself, you're getting to know your divine creator, and I guess in order to do that, it really has to isolate you from pretty much everything, so you can be purified and not muddied by the outside world. I'm hearing the quote, how Jesus said, I am in this world, but not of it. You know? It's pretty bad out there these days in 2025. But it's always darkest before the dawn. So, let's see. I don't know. I think that might be it. What have I said? I can't remember everything I said about myself. I said my age, how old I am. I'm Canadian. I don't know. But I'm glad you're here. And I appreciate all the kindness, support, and compassion that I received. I really loved my job. I did. It's difficult because it was the best job I ever had in my life. And I felt, what's the feeling? I don't know. I just felt like, well, for me, being that kind of a hero every day for those children was enough. And I enjoyed it, you know. But again, after some time, and it's almost like, the stress bubbling up, I just went to reach for the doorknob that day, and I couldn't even grab the door handle and leave the house. And I knew that, and then again, I was probably ill for, and I didn't want to go out or whatever, and eat that much, or, it was pretty difficult. I thought, damn, I'm not better. But I gave it a really good shot, and I made really good money, you know? And it wasn't about that, but it just had like so many rewards, I even had the ability to put like have $1,000 in my savings. Always. I could, if there was an emergency with my pets, I could take care of it, at least the first 1,000. So, I mean, it's not like I don't want to. I can't focus on online work. I won't do it. I get distracted with everything else. And I don't know. So I don't really know what my plan is for life. But I told you my goal that I do want to be loved for who I am, for all that I am. I think we all want that. And we all deserve that. And I figured the only way I'm ever going to get that is if I truly show people who I am and all that I am, right? Hmm. So I suppose, I mean, I know it's kind of, I guess now I've gone back to the initial trying to help save the world, but a little differently. I can't maybe not save the world, but I can fix a few things, maybe make it better, and I think that, especially because I've been on a long journey with all these things. Again, I had that experience in 2015 where I thought I saw an alien in my room. And I mean, I saw something, but it wasn't an alien. Um, Turned out to be an egregore, an element, an inner element from within, which I've explained that a few times. Um, and that's just fine, because it got me to where I need to be learning all these things. It doesn't make it any less real, but being not an alien turned out to be just fine. See what I'm saying? But I went on a journey with all of these people, and really what it came, what it came down to is that I realized that I had a lot in common. Like I was like, okay, well, I know, I think I know what they're talking about. Oh yeah, I've done that, you know. But then it was just so big and extravagant, and I started wondering if I was doing something wrong. And well, let's just say it got pretty intense for me, you know, and caused me a lot of mental distress and anguish at certain points of it, you know, because I really, really wanted something more than what I had in this life. I knew that there has to be something else. And that's what I wanted. I don't know how to explain it any more than that. Like, I don't know. It's weird because I always knew ever since I was a little kid I was meant to help save this world. But I didn't know how I was going to do that. And I mean, like I've been saying, yes, remembering bits and pieces of my past life. And I had a different type of superpowers back then, you know? Of course, they were like the elemental type of stuff, almost like Avatar: The Last Airbender, and then shape shifting and stuff like that, because this was stuff that you could do within the aether. And anyway, I don't want to digress into that too much because it will distract me, but that was what it was like in my last life in the antediluvian age. which I always called the Atlantean age. But from what I remember and from what I hear that's written about this age, it matches up to that. So pre-biblical times before the flood. But I only remember, and honestly, everything that I remember from back then, I've learned from in this life. Like I've learned about, because I remember the strongest memory that I have of back then was that at one day, at one point, like it was good at first, then it slowly declined, and then one day we just all started fighting and killing each other. Mm-hmm. Like a big war. But I don't remember much after that, except for that I was speared out of the sky, and that's how I died. I fell into the ocean. Yeah. And I was a giant glowing golden dragon. There's that. Yeah, but I shapeshifted into that. I know that sounds wild, but the spirit realm is different. You could be a janitor, which there's nothing wrong with being a janitor. But then you could be a general in the spirit realm. You see what I'm saying? It's a thing. But I mean, you got to be real about it. That's the most important thing. Like, I just did a video about Emery Smith, and like those ladies wearing their admiral costumes is ridiculous. So even if they just are the cafeteria lunch ladies, they may be something else in the spiritual realm, but parading around like that is ridiculous. You know? Why? That's no. There's no fake it till you make it. So again, this has to be done with a true, honest, and genuine heart and mind. And it's not just about you, it's about everyone. And so that's why we're going to be covering many different things on this channel. And I hope that you will approach it with an open mind and an open heart, and hear me out before, having yourself be triggered. See what I'm saying? Because even if I start to say something that you may not enjoy or think that is right, just give me a chance. Okay, I'm not saying that I'm right about everything, but and if we can discuss it in the comments. I always welcome questions and stuff like that. And of course, the only time I ever delete comments is if they're truly vile and foul. I will allow criticism here, which you will find within my videos. There hasn't been that many of late, which is really nice. But there has been. And that's okay, because that's life, and I think it's important to kind of address these things with people, so that even if they do come across somebody like me, they won't make the same misjudgment the next time. I don't care if they like me after that or not. It's not about being liked, but that's truly what will help them. You see? Mm-hmm. And it also helps me because, it's never, even though I say I don't care, it's never really nice to have someone have to see you in not such a great light, because I'm really not trying to hurt anyone here. Even though I have expressed myself in many different energies and attitudes, I'm just trying my best to get the message heard. And I truly believe that the only way to reach a golden age or an age of truth is to actually tell the truth, be real, and be true, not only to yourself, but to others. And so, I don't know, I have 2 cats, and I have my own apartment, and I'm very grateful for that. I'm very grateful for all that I have, and I've been lucky and blessed enough over the last year that I've had donations, but it's not like I'm getting a ton of money. It's been a blessing to help me to be able to get through the month more efficiently, well, it's like, anyway, it's just because I didn't pay my phone bill this month. I thought that, I'm like, I'll just wait 2 weeks, and then, but then I spent my money on fast food. Yeah. So, like I said, I'm bad at math and money management, and sometimes I digress a lot, but I am honest and I am true, and I'm truly fighting for truth, love, and justice for this world, you know? And that's a lot of the reason why I use Sailor Moon. It's symbolic and allegorical, and well, not only because I love it, you know? But yeah, I hope that you enjoy your time here with me. And, you know, I hope to see you again sometime. This is already half an hour. Oh, I've got two cats. I know I just started to say that. Marvin and Salem. And you'll meet them. I think we saw baby Marvin in the start, right? I've clearly smoked a bit since after my dinner. But, let's see. So I figured out why I was isolated, and clearly that was a good thing. Cause hey, like I love myself more than ever, you know, and I'm comfortable with myself more than ever, and trusting myself more than ever, especially my intuition. And I don't know, things have just been going rather well, and I couldn't ask for more. Well, except for true love for Christmas. Everybody wishes for that. But let's see. So yeah, ever since I was a little girl, I don't know. I just knew I was here to save the world, but I definitely didn't know how. I had superpowers before that were like pew pew, but now my superpowers are more of the heart, mind, and spirit. You know, it's different, but it's still good and less exhausting because war. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Say it again. I'm not going to, but you can. Got ya. Okay. Right. Anyway, thanks for sticking around, everybody. I appreciate you. And yeah, thank you so much for your support, your sir kindness. Thank you for subscribing and for your kindness. That's what I meant. And my computer is stalling because it's a piece of crap. Yep, but I'm still grateful to have one because some people don't. So, with that being said, I'm going to leave this video off and hope to see you again sometime. Thanks for coming to get to know me a little bit. And if that wasn't good, because I can't really remember everything we talked about, you can ask me below and we can talk about it there. Any questions that you might have. And we can, you know, get it out all in this one video for other people that are curious about me. You know, and why I always get these, get a job, get a job, get a job. Well, bitch, I did have a job. And again, non-gender B word, an energy and an attitude. Yes. So, for one final time, take care, everybody. Thanks for being here with me. I am Lacey J. Forbes. That's so weird saying your own name still. I think it'd always be weird. But this is Last Minute Lacey. And the reason why is because, well, I always pretty much do everything at the last minute. It's not negative. I've also arrived at the last minute. You know, save the day at the last minute. Dun da da da. It's kind of got a few different meanings. So it's just a clever little name. But I found, oh, guess what? I found a last minute Laura. Maybe I should challenge her to a fight. I'm just joking. Maybe I should challenge her to a fight for the name, right? No, I'm just kidding. But I may consider changing my channel name to my actual name, like Lacey J. Forbes. Yeah. We may have to retire Last Minute Lacey one day. Who knows? I hope not, but maybe. Oh my God. So take care, everybody. Thank you. Bye. See you next time.